Hello everyone, Shindo Bean here playing some more Warhammer Combat Cards PvP mode. In this campaign we've got cards at different rarities at different levels, 250 deck points, and Warp Storm increasing the psychic attack of units. And for this first match I'm going to be running Rakarth with the Lord of War, the Wraith Knight with Fear and Furious Charge. We got the Solitaire with Deathblow and Furious Charge, 10-point healer with Medicae. We've got Prince Uriel with the Inspiring Presence and Outflank. The Parasite Engine with Medicae. Drazhar with Big Game Hunter and Furious Charge, and then the Razorwing Flock with Taunt. Now this is the first time I've used the Wraith Knight at this level, so really looking forward to seeing how it combos with Rakarth. We're up against Canoness Viridian, who is pretty strong I think, and right off the bat we do get to deploy the Wraith Knight on turn 1. So you should be able to get some pretty good damage out of it. With Fear, of course, it has the ability to survive for a very long time, especially since it'll be gaining health every time anything dies. Dropping the Solitaire next, and then my opponent is dropping Celestine, who is not as strong as she could be. The Endless at this level only brings her back at 40% health, but she still is pretty strong. And we're dropping Drazhar as the number 3. So normally with Rakarth I think it'd be good to drop like cheaper things that can die and sort of increase the health of your units early on, but we're just going straight up with the damage dealers because we do have the initiative. We're taking the first turn here, so we're just starting off with the melee. Wraith Knight kills the cavalry there, and of course every time an enemy unit dies, Canoness Viridian allows one of her other deployed cards to make an extra attack. And they've got some, heavy damage dealers there. Curtis Hicks is going to be doing quite a bit of damage, although fortunately he wasn't across from the Wraith Knight there. We've got the Custodes with 3 shields, and that guy is actually really strong. I found very tough. So Drazhar barely survives, manages to take down Curtis Hicks. Celestine dies once, but then comes back. Got an extra attack from the Custodian there. Another extra attack from Celestine, but fortunately the Fear is reducing the damage from her attacks. We're dropping the Razorwing Flock, which has gained a few stacks of health and is actually able to absorb quite a bit of damage. But they're dropping a little taunt minion of their own. The Crusader there, who's going to take all the damage from the Wraith Knight and Drazhar. Once again giving them an extra attack from Celestine, which does barely any damage. But then the other 2 attacks bring the Razorwing Flock down to 7 health, which is a very dangerous position, I think, because now all they have to do is deploy something with Furious Charge, which they do with Trajan Valoris, and he knocks out the birds with that Furious Charge. It's their turn, so they get to attack with a massive melee attack. Potentially could have done more damage there, but still, after the Wraith Knight kills Celestine, Trajan gets the extra attack, bringing the Wraith Knight down to 10 health. Fortunately, I do have some healers here who are able to deploy for the clutch heal. Because the healer came first, it does activate before the Furious Charge, but I decided to bring out the Parasite Engine as well, just for a little bit more healing. And it's a pretty close match here. We have like an even number of bodyguards on the field. It's my turn here. Decide to go for the Psychic attack, which doesn't do too much damage, charging up a melee attack though. And the enemy decides to just keep on going melee here. Quite a bit of damage from these guys. And the counterattack isn't really that great on my end. But now we do have a big enough attack that we can do some serious damage, well at least the Wraith Knight can. The others, not so much, and actually we're going to be taking a lot of extra damage in return from the counterattack there. So only one more bodyguard to deploy on both sides. I drop Prince Uriel here with the Inspiring Presence, and there's the Wraith Knight there with the boosted attack stats. I do get a small outflank in, but they deploy a big bodyguard of their own. Belisari is called the Bodyguard version, which has Medicae healing up the other guys. It's their turn. They go for another big melee attack, taking down the Parasite Engine. The Wraith Knight does attack back for 168 damage, and because of the outflank, we do have a bit of a charged up melee attack here. Rakarth deploying for some extra healing, and is looking pretty good, I think, for the Eldar here. Unfortunately, this is where things started to go wrong. yeah, Rakarth just gets hit 3 times in one turn by Alea and Valerian, which they do a lot of damage right now. And now with Canada's Viridian deploying, she's got 3 shields to protect her. And Rakarth is now so low on health that we can't actually break through the shields without getting our own Warlord killed. So even though the Prince Uriel and the Wraith Knight are doing fine, in terms of bodyguards, we have a lot more on the field here. But yeah, there's no way I can attack. And even if I ready, they can just attack the next turn and finish off the Warlord. So it was a very close game. The outcome might have been different if I had chosen a different attack type perhaps in an earlier turn, but yeah, for this match it is victory for the Servants of the Emperor. So Lords of War definitely fun, but not the most powerful units ever when they're only at level 6 and with 250 points available in the deck. But it was a fun match. I enjoyed that one. On to match number 2. We're running something a little bit different here. This time going with 2 Lords of War led by Magos Dominus. We've got the Baneblade. Lots of damage right there. And then the Colossi, the House Raven Knight, Valiant, and just 2 small healers. That's it. 2 Lords of War, 2 healers, and one of the worst warlords in the game. So we're up against Grandmaster Voldus, who will be benefiting from the Warp Storm. I actually saw surprisingly few Psychic decks in this campaign. I think, yeah, people just like running whatever they want to, their favorite bodyguards or warlords, many of which do not involve Psychers. But yeah, of course, what we're going to do here is just drop 2 Lords of War right off the bat. I wanted to sort of save it as a surprise, so saving the Baneblade for drop number 3, and that thing has a ton of health. But they've got some decent stuff on the field. I think Njal Stormcaller actually is not very strong at this level. At level 6, his Psychic attack is pretty weak, but it does get buffed by the Warp Storm, so as long as he's able to keep it alive, he can get pretty strong. At the moment, so they've just got the Grey Knight's Apothecary over in the left lane, hitting my my healer, which I do want her to die, I guess, but maybe not too quickly because I only have 1 more bodyguard in this deck, and once that bodyguard's gone, we're going to be kind of in trouble here. Baneblade remains in the center lane, but they're bringing out another Taunt bodyguard. Sonic Blast dealing 19 damage to all lanes. That attack slowly getting increasing from Njal Stormcaller. Yeah, lots of damage here, but again, Taunt does block a lot of damage at these levels, so it takes all 3 attacks just to kill that one little guy. Currently at 81. Every time they deploy another bodyguard, of course, it does increase the Psychic attack of everything on the field. So even that Grey Knight's Apothecary, which is really weak normally, is actually starting to deal a lot of damage by this point. 100 damage right there. And then they've got Mephiston, who is quite strong as well. Drop the other healer for some additional healing. The Baneblade, they did rework how Big Game Hunter and Barrage combo. So actually, it doesn't just deal extra damage to everything. It only targets the things that are 40 more points. But it was enough damage to wipe out their 2 big damage dealers. Of course, at this point, the Paladin, once again, the Grey Knight's Paladin is a crazy damage dealer at this point, dealing well over 100 damage. So starting to look a little bit scary here. They've got Tigurius in the field, who has 3 shields, and they are debuffing my ranged attack with their Apothecary as well, so that's going to be pretty significant. Tigurius doesn't actually have that much health, so we are able to break through the shields and deal some direct damage to him there. But now they're finally bringing out their Warlord. Grandmaster Voldus coming to the field. He's got Psychic Link and Inspiring Presence, so Tigurius getting even more Psychic attack, but it's not quite enough to take out my Lords of War. They just have so much health, it's crazy. So yeah, extra damage from the Big Game Hunter, from the Baneblade, and then the Big Knight is able to shoot down Tigurius through the shield. Voldus is only at 9 health, and he no longer has any other Psychic bodyguards on the field to support him. So yeah, he doesn't even get a boost to a psychic attack, and it is GG for the Space Marines. So that was a pretty entertaining match. Do feel a little bit bad for my opponent, but it was pretty close. I mean, he came very close to taking down those Lords of War. If either of them had fallen, that might have been a different outcome. But hope you enjoyed that one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.